Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. We've got a few guests in the house. We have Anna and Gordon here from gCreate, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 365 project and what's happening over at gCreate, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back. Like I said in the introduction, we have Gordon and Anna here from gCreate, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 365 project, and then we're going to talk a little bit about gCreate and what they have planned for the future, and what drives them on their every day to be creative over at their 3D printing farm. So let's talk to Gordon and Anna here from gCreate. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty well, thank you.
Doing
Doing
well,
excellent.
yeah.
Firstly, I just want to say how great it is to meet you in person.
Well, thanks.
after all
It's
this
finally
time.
good to meet you guys.
Yeah.
It's great to finally
Really
meet
meet you
you.
guys. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you guys. It's been kind of like just a social media back and forth and
Yep.
a few emails here and there.
Mhm.
And Gordon and Anna have been really pivotal for the 365 project during some of the problems. And even when I've had successes, they've always been there for me. So it's really great to finally meet these guys and really have a chance to talk to them about the 365 project. And I really wanted to share with you guys some of this information too. And I thought this would be a good forum to actually talk to the people who make the GMAX 1.5 XT Plus.
I mean, firstly, the fact that you printed every single day on our GMAX printer and you posted a video on it, that is a lot of content. That's a lot of information. How was that for you?
It's been pretty fun. I think the biggest challenge mostly was finding a model to print. I mean, I think a lot of people will know that, just because it's posted on an STL site doesn't mean it's 3D printable.
Yep.
I mean, there are things that are designed for different kinds of printers too, so it's a mixed bag when you're out there. And a lot of these modelers don't have a 3D printer, which as we all know, not everybody can afford a 3D printer. So they may just be modeling thinking that's good to go. So that's been the biggest challenge, is finding something to print every single day. But I'll get into a streak where I'll find 5 or 6 models,
Yep.
and I'll get them on the build plate or in sliced and get them ready to go, and think to myself, these are all going to be successful prints because these came from people who had 3D printers, or they just have the right quality to them, the right mesh, the right polygon configuration. Everything seems to be aligned for them to be the best print. I think that's been the biggest challenge, more than anything else. And then, of course, time management.
Yeah.
I mean, I work a full-time job. I have a
Sure.
family. We like to spend time together. It's not all 3D printing all the time. This is more of like a side project that became more of like a full-time, part-time job.
Right.
I think that's the best way to explain it. We put a lot of time and effort into each print, but then again, we still have time for ourselves and still have time for the family, and still be able to manage it along with having a full-time job and somewhere in there sleep. So I think that's been the biggest challenge of everything, has been finding models to print. Other than that, I think the printer works amazing. I mean, I got to hand it to you guys. You make an amazing printer.
Oh, thank you.
I've never seen more successful prints and been praised for my successful prints of all the printers I see online. I know there's a lot of printers that put out some really good prints, but I'm putting out something every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but the prints they come out perfect. That's just the way they are. And any real failure, I guess I would have, has been, I would lean towards either the consumables
Yep.
or the model, because the printer's working fine. It's just what we're feeding it.
That's very nice to hear.
Like I said, I'm not bragging or anything. I mean, it just worked out that way, and you guys make an awesome product. And being that I'm running hundreds of meters of filament through the printer every single day, I have no other experience with any other printers besides a few little ones you've probably seen tested and unboxed on the channel. But some of the other printers I have no experience with. So for me, I'm comparing to what I see everybody else printing, and these prints look amazing. So to me, I don't have to think about how it's going to look on the end, because I know it's going to turn out good. I have to figure out what I want to feed the printer.
Right.
What kind of filament I want to put in it, and what kind of model I want to print with it. And that has been the challenge, really. Other than that, I've got it down to a science. Obviously, you guys watch the videos. I kind of do things in one take.
Yep.
I kind of just spit it out. I have a natural reaction. I mentioned them earlier. I try not to look too much at the print. I just kind of, wow, this is what I'm seeing, and I'm telling you guys for the first time. So that's how I share the experience of the 3D print. And I think that brings a little bit more enthusiasm that I offered with my videos than some other people that just kind of show the print, talk about the print, and walk away from the print, where I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, this is the coolest print ever. And I've said it a couple of dozen times. This is the coolest print I've ever had. So I mean, I've got shelves. You guys can see them in the background. There's just shelves of my favorite prints. So that would be my biggest challenge. I don't think there's anything else that's really come in the way. I mean, you guys make a great product. I've been really good with the filament manufacturers being able to pick and choose from the filament that I'm given, so I can use, the right colors with the right kind of model.
Yep.
And I know, in the beginning, I knew nothing. You guys know the story.
I was going to say that, yeah.
You guys all know the story. I came into this blind with no idea even what a 3D printer looked like. I'd never seen one or touched one before.
Yeah.
The G-Max was on my lap. I put it back together. I got it printing. You guys brought in the newest version of the G-Max, which prints amazing, and I've just run with it. I don't have to think about the printer. And that's something I don't think a lot of people can say in the industry, that they don't have to think about the printer part. My concern is finding a good model to print, and making sure the filament flows.
So this is kind of a two-part question in the sense where because you know that you have to release a print and a video every day, right? But you've also done things where you print really big objects in, like, say, spiral vase mode, or you will swap out the filament and do, like, so you could have like a multicolor print. Is there anything that you would consider to be especially challenging that you were kind of really nervous about doing in like a 1-day turnaround time? And then on the second part of that question is, now that you're not going to have the print a day kind of limitation, where do you see yourself kind of going beyond December 31st?
Well, I think the biggest challenge, I guess, on that part of it would be just managing how much time, because like with a vase mode print, a lot of times you look at the model and you're thinking this is going to take 40 hours, but it really only takes like 10 because it's doing a single perimeter. So to be honest, sometimes a vase mode print has been my backup plan.
Right.
So if I see a model like, say, like the thirst zapper that I printed that I knew would take a couple of days to print, there was no way I was going to get that done in 1 day, only because I wanted to take my time with the printing and I wanted it to look perfect. And it's not that it wouldn't have if I'd gone fast. I just wanted to take my time with it. Plus, I'd already have some models lined up for that week that I was already going to print. And it was kind of like I shoehorned it in there, just kind of in between, along with something else I'm doing. So I've got a couple, maybe 3 at once going at once. So sometimes if I'm doing that, I see like a multi-part print and I go, I really want to print that. How am I going to fit that in to the schedule with time a lot and still do something? So what I'll do is I'll pick out a vase mode print that'll give me a 10-hour print, and I'll be able to get that done. And then with the remaining time in the day, another 14 hours or even 8 hours of the day, depending on when I print it, I can print out some of these other smaller parts, and then I can reveal it as a, yes, I didn't print it that day, but I printed something that day before I showed you guys, before I brought it out to the audience. At least one part of that was printed before we went to air. And that's been pretty much how it's been. I haven't had anything sitting around and go, oh, I better show that one. I had that sitting around for a week. And I think the scariest, maybe the most thing that's made me the most nervous has been changing filament. That makes me so nervous when you're 12 hours into a print and you decide either A, it's going to run out of filament, or B, I want to switch color on this and make it a 2-color print like I've done in Maker Coins and stuff like that. Those are pretty easy. You get to layer 50, you do it. It's a bigger model where at, like I said, 20, 30 hours in, I decide I want to do it, or I have to do a change filament command. Is it going to realign perfectly? Am I going to, when I'm pushing the filament through to feed it a little bit in, did I misalign the head a little bit? Or is it going to spit out and not print? Or is this filament, because it's a different kind of filament, is it going to react a little bit different to the temperatures and the settings I've gotten? But again, I have to go back to the G-Max being an awesome printer, and I haven't had those problems. So I'm shaking, getting ready to, I'm like, layer 49, layer 50's coming up. I gotta get ready. And I hit the button, and the extruder comes up and goes over. I'm like, I can do this. And I get it going, and I hit the button again, and it starts printing, and then I'm staring at it going, is it aligned? Is it perfect? And then it's fine. And it always has been fine. I think that's the scariest little part of it. That's the kind of like apprehension that I might feel is like I'll see a 2-color print or something that I want to print in 2 colors that someone else has done, and I know I can do it. Just change filament command, I can do that. But am I ready for that challenge? It's just because, again, I'm not super familiar with 3D printing like as much as a lot of other people are. So I don't know. It's like when you're playing with electronics, you don't know what part's going to break it if you touch it wrong. You know, it's not like a computer where I can just hit undo.
Yeah.
You can't undo on a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Once it's going, it's going. You're pretty much along for the ride for that part. But that's probably the scariest part. Is just working around the printer itself, even though I feel familiar with it because I printed it on it for 350 plus days.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still so much I need to learn. I mean, I still don't understand the electronics part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the mechanical part because that's the stuff you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But it's behind the scenes, the
Sure.
Marlin, the G-code, how that's all stacked up, how it can make my life easier by putting in commands.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't have to hit the button.
Pause in it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to hit the button and have it do it itself. But once I get to that point, I think that will expand my knowledge even more. And then I won't feel so apprehensive of printing stuff that's multiple color. Or if I run out of filament during mid-print, as we all know, you gotta take care of it.
Yeah.
You gotta, and I can't be scared of that part
Yeah.
of like, you know, I have rolls of filament that I've started a new roll because I wasn't ready to have it run out.
Right.
It was like, I've got 3 rolls of blue. I'm going to use them all halfway through because I'm too scared to run it to the end because I don't know how much is on there. I mean, all I have to do is get a scale and weigh the empty spool and hope that Simplify 3D tells you the right weight that you're using and stuff with support material. But I think that's probably the stuff that scares me the most still to this day is doing stuff around the printer where I haven't done it before.
Yeah.
Like someone says, oh, just do this. It's like, I don't know what that means.
You're taking it all in
part
stride,
of the
really.
process.
Like you've been doing a great job learning along the way, and we're all of us are getting to watch your journey and learn along with you. So,
well, thank you. And I do get that a lot in the feedback from the subscribers too, that they, you know, I print a model and I tell you my settings and then they go and print it on a completely different printer and have the same success. So I feel like I've taught something beyond just the printer itself. It's about the printing process. You know, I used to show a lot of Simplify 3D settings and I'm probably going to go back to doing that again. But even just explaining what I did so people can try that setting and try that speed for that print, I hope that like I said, I've said this before, if I can just help one person about 3D printing, then my work is done here. You know, that's my work is done here. But as far as taking that to the next level, as far as what goes on in 2018, as I'm more and more familiar with the printer from the last 350 plus days of printing on it, I feel more confident that I could do a full build plate full of parts. Or I could use a dissolvable support and bring out the 2-color machine and feel confident about setting that file up. Because it's not just bringing the file into Simplify 3D sometimes. I use custom support material. I'm in there placing support pieces in certain places. I'll let the machine do it for me. So I do it a lot myself. I do a lot of customization. I may move the parts into different positions because I know I want to be able to see which parts are printing. At the end of the time-lapse. If there's a problem, I'll stack them up on an angle in the time-lapse window and through the camera so I can see them at the end because I may not be here for the print. So I'll do that a lot too. I mean, it's just a lot of, I guess, easiest thing to say, practice makes perfect. I mean, that's the easiest thing to say. It's just because I've had so much practice at it, I think I'm getting closer to being perfect at printing, but there's still so much more to learn. Mountains of information. Sometimes some of my subscribers, like my buddy Chris Russell, will say something to me, and if he only knew what the look on my face for what he had just told me, he would probably laugh because I have no idea what he just said. I have to Google before I can answer him. Like, oh yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, it's exactly what we were talking about. Thanks for the information. Still don't know. So, but that's it.
A similar question then. Not only 3D printing takes a while to kind of figure out and learn, but you're recording every day and you're editing every day.
Yes.
So how long did that process take to kind of become comfortable and where you felt like you could consistently put a video out every day? Obviously, you've done it since day one, but how long until you felt comfortable and knew the process?
Well, it took a couple of months. My full-time job affords me some really great hours. I don't have to work till almost noon, so I have the whole morning. The kids go to school, and then I have a couple hours where I have peace and quiet, and I can do all these things, or I can even do a short print if the one the night before had some problems, or I just, we decided we want to watch TV and relax and not print that night. I don't want to rob you guys of the project, so I'll print something the next day. But that process took a couple of months to get used to. There was a point where I was releasing videos at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night because I just didn't have the time to do the editing part. I shot everything, too busy at work. I don't edit my videos at work. I edit everything here at home, and I try to release everything before I go to work. But sometimes I'll have to wait till I get home from work, and then it grinds all day. I've got this package of footage waiting for me at home. My subscribers are waiting at the same time, like, Jeff, where's the video? I'm like, sorry, it'll be out. It's got to wait till later. But now with the process that I've got going now, I kind of try to do a one take for my explanation, and I'll do multiple takes. So I don't get it on the first try. I'll do multiple takes of whatever my story is for that print. And then it takes me about 5, 10, maybe even 20 minutes to edit the video. And then obviously YouTube upload speeds. But other than that, I went from 3 hours to about an hour in the process time. It takes about 10 if everything moves smoothly in the morning and the print is perfect and I don't have any problems, which is almost every morning, and I don't fumble my words trying to figure out what to say to everybody, I can have something shot within 10 minutes and then edit and post within the next 20 and still have enough time in the morning to even start another print or work on a multi-part project that I've been wanting to do. You know, sometimes I'll get up a little earlier just to do that, shoot a little earlier. But that's been the biggest challenge, was because I knew that would be a linchpin, is the editing and posting and shooting part. The 3D printing kind of took care of itself after a couple of months. Once I got more familiar, once I figured out which models I could print, which I couldn't, it became a workflow. And then 3-4 months in, it was like, I can get this done in 30 minutes. So I tell my wife, if we're going somewhere, just give me 10 minutes, let me shoot a video real quick, and then we'll edit this later. We'll do grocery shopping, come back, I'll edit my video and post it, and not have to really stress about it. So now I've been focusing on getting big prints, cooler prints, because this other part of the process becomes second nature. Just as much as getting up and making your coffee, brushing your teeth. I get up, I do those things, I shoot a video, and then I do other stuff. So that took a couple of months, but it's so streamlined now that I think when we go into 2018, I want to spend more time making videos, not just the print part. Because the print part is 20 hours of the day, and the editing and posting is 4. If you want to break 24 hours down into a box, I'd like to take 20 hours of print and then 20 hours of filming and editing next, and give people more for their viewing pleasure. I guess would be the easiest thing to say, because people want to see more. They, B-roll footage of the prints, me setting it up, talking about other things, even if it's a multiple part thing, showing time lapses of sanding the parts and painting and stuff like that. So I'll definitely get into that, because now I feel much more confident. And again, I have more time, and I can add more to the shooting and editing and post-pod. And plus I know motion graphics, because I'll be able to give people a little bit more visual reference during the printing or while I'm speaking too. So that'll help out a lot. That'll be fun for next year too. Because I'll be able to I actually have a little degree in filmmaking, so I'll be able to put that to good use for once.
There you go.
Instead of making these quick little 10-minute videos for you guys. So that'll be fun.
Really good.
So throughout this whole project, do you have any like specific moments? I mean, this whole thing is just like an achievement in itself, right? But do you have any specific moments throughout the year that you felt particularly like kind of proud of, that were kind of like your shining moments?
I would have to say,
or something?
there's been a couple of aha moments. I think when it came to having difficulties, having the backing of you guys, that was an aha moment. I mean, I've heard horror stories of other manufacturers, everybody knows, and when I had a problem, we had a major fail at one point, I had the part the next day. You guys were all over it. I mean, to me, that's... I can't even put a name on that. That's just awesomeness right there. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that was a major part of that, was like, okay, so we've been able to get over this hurdle, so what's the next hurdle? And what's going to be the next moment of proudness that I'll come to? And that was when I had a big print. The longest print I did, I think I was like a 50-hour or 40-some hour print. And it was a vase mode print. It was probably one of the ones we have sitting around here. And because it took so long, at the end I was like, yes, yes, 50 hours later, look how beautiful it is, and then take 20 minutes to carefully remove it from the sanded acrylic board. But those are a couple of aha moments. I think, when I'm doing a multi-part project, like I did the ping pong ball launcher, that was like, I kind of assembled that on the air, like that morning, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And it was like, as soon as I fired the first ping pong ball, I was like, I need to start recording, because this was too cool. I got to share this with you guys. And it was kind of like, wow, I could make a whole bunch of these. That was another thing. It was like, somebody designed this in Fusion 360. We 3D printed it out. I put it together with some screws I had laying around. I bought a box of ping pong balls from Walmart, and sure enough, I had this really cool ping pong ball launcher. And it was like, oh, so this is what we could do with 3D printing. We can make ping pong ball launchers. But there's other things too, like I've done some practical prints and stuff like that, solve problems. this is one of my favorite prints. It's appeared like on everything. It's just a simple can holder. But this was one of those things. It's like, I've always wanted a can holder, and I never saw anything I really liked that was cool. 3D printing solved that problem for me. I mean, even as simple as this. But there's been other things too, like we were printing out parts for a printer that we're going to be building next year. And it was just kind of like, I was playing around with it, and I didn't follow through with it. I bought some parts for it, but I kind of love the GMAX a lot.
By the way, Jeffrey is not paid by us to say any of this stuff.
No, there was no. We should have probably done that at the beginning. Of the disclaimer. There's been no compensation for this little video today here. I just love the printer a lot. But I had started printing out parts to build a printer, and I realized that I couldn't just use PLA. I had to use some better filaments, some better materials, better consumables. So I scratched the whole idea until I'm ready to actually move forward with that and get my skill level up. And that'll be another accomplishment, another type of thing, was like not just to build a printer, but to be able to have the experience for using different materials so I could use it for different things. If I ever wanted to build some sort of mechanical machine or a robot or something cool like that, I'd like to have the option to use different materials. I've been using PLA all this time, and I didn't think twice about, I could use PLA for a 3D printer. It just doesn't have the durability. It's not going to last. And most likely there's going to be shrinkage and part issues.
Right.
That just happens. There's nothing you can do about that. So that was kind of like, okay, so that was another like aha moment. Like I can't just print everything in PLA. I have to eventually use different materials. So that was kind of like a good push for me to like really expand my horizons and think about, let's get a heated bed on here for next year. Let's put some glass down. As much as I love the sanded acrylic, put some glass down so we can start taking advantage of different materials. And using different methods of printing too, because like with the dual extruder machine, we can use dissolvable support material and all kinds of new ways of printing out things that I was scared to print before. And now I have the confidence of 3D printing. Now I just need the machine to kind of catch up with what I want to do. And I don't have to worry about that again. Not bragging, but the GMAX is already there. We're just going to add a few add-ons for next year. We were talking about that, so we're gonna boost it up and print out some really cool stuff. I think that's the big thing. Is like I have so much confidence on what I want to do next year. I'm not worried about it. Like I want to do some cosplay stuff. I want to do some electronics. I have a couple of secret plans that I'll tell Gordon about over dinner later, and we're going to get those things going for next year. So I'm super confident now because of the 365 project and because of all those hills that I've climbed during 350 plus days of printing as we are now, that when I go into next year, it'll go back to the model again. It'll be picking out the proper model because the printer does the work for you. If you don't have to think about that, that's a huge plus. It really is. If you don't have to worry about your printer, you know it's going to work. I mean, the rest is just finding something to print.
And once you have time to move away, or the ability to move away from PLA, and you start playing with new materials, you're really going to have a lot of fun, because there are some fun materials out there.
There is, and there's a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to touch because of, and it's not because of a sponsorship issue or anything like that. It's just to be able to get new filaments in and test it properly and do all the legwork before we start doing it. I can't just throw it in on basic PLA temperatures if I'm using a PVA or a a high temperature PLA, or
especially if you're committed to a print a day and a video a day.
Yeah, there's no time for testing. There really isn't. And the little bit that I've done, I know I've maybe done 2 filament reviews in the whole year, where I wanted to do 1 a month. It just wasn't possible. The focus was the 365 project, as you guys know, and there was nothing going to get in the way of that. As far as other printing projects go, I'd be willing to stop thinking about something like, oh, that's so cool, I want to join in, everybody's printing this cool model, like the Save Pangolins. I really wanted to print it, but it just seemed like a difficult print to me. But now I'm like, I wish I had some time, because I know I can print it. I'm not worried about it anymore. I just wish I had another 12 hours or 14 hours to print it out with some wood filament or something cool to really do it justice. So I think that's the big thing. It's just now that I have that experience, I can't wait to try all those new materials. I can't wait to try new things. And since I won't have to think about what I'm printing tomorrow, that'll take a huge weight off my shoulders. And it'll be a fun for 2018. And I think fun for the subscribers too. And fun for you guys too, because you guys will be able to see some new things coming off the GMAX that maybe some people haven't done before. Because a lot of people use it for what you see face value. And I like to push the limits of everything. You know, we were talking about multicolor,
Absolutely.
doing some stuff like that. So I'm anxious I'm not anxious for the project to end and anxious for the project to end at the same time. One, to have a little bit peace and quiet and not think about that daily print, but to kind of miss it at the same time, but also anxious to get 2018 going and some really cool projects to really kind of show everybody that it's just not what I've been doing. There's more, so much more that I want to do. And I can't wait to show you guys. I really can't. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, now that we're, you're in the home stretch, we're past 350 days now. Looking back on your project, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this may have made it somewhat, maybe not so much as like a print a day, but it would have been a print ahead. To be able to print ahead, print a couple of models over a couple of days, get ahead of the storm. But as I did that, we've done it, and I've had full transparency with my subscribers. If my wife and I wanted to have some time alone or just wanted to just stop printing for one night, I had oral surgery, so we had to print ahead for that. And I've been transparent about it. This was printed yesterday or whatever. But I think that probably would have been integrated into it, or more backup plans, because you can only print so many vases when you run out of things to print. I mean, there's enough vases out there to print, but you can only print so many of them. Where people are like, he printed another vase. I mean, my wife's like, you printed another vase. Where are we going to put this
vase?
Get
plants for all of them.
Somewhere, I think we'll start our own vase company. Start molding them or something.
Yeah, right.
But, I think if I could do anything differently, it would be to manage the time just a little bit more differently, so I would have even more time with my family, because there have been times when the printing did get in the way. And I'm being completely honest. There are times when we couldn't leave because it was a precarious print, or we would delay doing something because the print was going, or we wouldn't want to leave the house because the print was going, and no one would be here. And if somebody was here or the kids were here and it was printing, they know if the sound, something happens, they text us, the printer's making weird noises, and we'd rush home and do something. But that would be, I think the time management would be different. And I think I would have done, I don't know how I would have done it any differently. I think this was actually a pretty good plan, but it took 6 months to get to that point where I was at a place where I was happy and I could fulfill my responsibilities as a father and a husband and as a worker in a full-time job at the same time, and stay focused on all those things and not be thinking about what can I print when I'm supposed to be eating dinner or watching a movie or even at work doing something. But other than that, no, it's hard to come up with one pinpointed thing because it's been so smooth for the last couple of months and everything's been going good. We've got a lot of great modelers out there providing great models to print. The printer works perfectly again. The filament's been running really well. So I think if I could, I don't know, maybe if I had multiple colors when the multiple color system came out, and I kind of got on that charge when it first happened, but that's something for next year. I mean, again, when would I have had time to test out a multicolor machine when I knew that the clock was ticking? Because imagine, my work day at my full-time job ends at 7 o'clock at night. So, we have kids that go to school, my wife works early, and I have to get up anyway to do my filming. So there's a couple hours at night to get the print going. So if it fails in the first hour, it's either restart it or find another model to print. So there's only a couple hours, and then we wake up in the morning, we look at the print, we film a video, I edit it, it goes out, and we repeat the process again once my work day is over, my full-time job. So with that limited amount of time, I think maybe I would have done the opposite, film at night and print in the morning. When I had a little bit more flexibility, I could get up earlier, where at night, quiet time, let's get the print going, get the white noise generator, which is our fan, just keep the noise of the printer going down. Even though it's super quiet, it's a small place we live in. And maybe switch the way I'd done my process around. But again, it seems like it's been working so far. I mean, we've got 14 days left. So I think at this point, if I don't have it down, I did something completely wrong for these last 11 months. So at this point, I think it's, I think just time management, just that would have been the biggest thing. Just be able to spend more time with my family, and, focus on some of those things instead. But, my wife's involved in the channel. She does a lot of the finishing work and stuff. And her desk is actually right here. You guys can't see it. And we're in the same room together when we're printing and doing stuff. So we spend a lot of time together, even though the printer is going and is kind of the focus of the evening. We could be sitting here watching YouTube videos while the printer's going behind us, and just every once in a while look back and make sure that it's still going along. But it's time management. And I'm sure everybody would agree with that one, especially with 3D printing. it takes long to print.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of post-processing,
Yeah.
and then, of course, shooting a video, editing and posting. You've got to figure out when you're going to have time for everything.
Like, I guess a short question then, given that you kind of work in the morning, I'm sure a lot of people want to know, coffee, tea, Red Bull?
All the above.
All the above.
Actually, just
water.
a protein drink and a fistful of vitamins.
Well, actually, that'll do a lot too.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's basically it. I actually don't drink caffeine of any
Okay,
kind,
yeah.
believe it or not. I'm caffeine free. And as much as I love caffeine, I don't drink it anymore, only for particular health reasons.
Yeah.
But now I think it's, I have a protein shake and a fistful of vitamins in the morning, and within 20 minutes I'm like,
Ready to-
let's film a video. Let's get a print
That's
going.
great.
Might need that
Sometimes
recipe.
Yeah.
Sometimes my wife will even say, I'll be texting her as I'm leaving in the morning. I'm like, I got my breakfast, got the film video, and I even got a print going. And she's like, holy cow, Speedy Gonzalez this morning. So I think, it's been just enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural enthusiasm has been the biggest key because I love 3D printing. I got into it, no knowledge. I fell in love with it right away.
Yeah.
It's a great printer. I can print anything I want of any size. So the sky is kind of not the limit. I mean, I'm not restrained by anything when I want to print. So it's just a matter of finding time to print it. So that's the biggest. Okay, so that gives you guys kind of a wrap-up of the 365 project. Gordon and Anna had some really great questions about different parts of the 365 project, what I've learned, things that were a little bit difficult, any challenges I've reached, and kind of what I have planned for 2018. But I think what everybody else wants to know as well as I do is, what do you guys have coming up in the future? What's in store from gCreate in 2018 and beyond?
Well, 2018 hopefully has a lot of great things in store, or actually will have a lot of great things in store. We've now been in business about almost 5 years, and we've been working actively on gCreate, or GMax 2, obviously.
Yes.
You have to keep pushing forward for the future.
I mean, we've seen little previews of it on social media.
What are you talking about?
It's not a new fan shroud, let me tell you. It's not just a new fan shroud. There's a little bit more in those photos. You need to look closer. So...
No, being given where we are in the industry now and in our company, we've been actively working with a lot of people in the industry as far as Marlin firmware and suppliers, manufacturers, filament makers. So that's really helped us really start pushing forward GMax 2.
Great.
And it's been, it's a process for sure, but we're really excited. Actually, our packaging promo or prototype is on its way to us. We're really excited about that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys can kind of drop a few little subtle hints about the 2.0 maybe? That people couldn't just find on social media from a quick Google of looking on some photos that have been
We're definitely
out.
we listen to customer feedback a lot.
Good.
Yours, everyone's. That's really been one of our driving goals.
That's
And
important. Very important that you listen to the customers.
You have to because they're the ones using. Obviously, we use our printers every day, but everyone else is using their printers every day. And if we don't listen, then there's no point in this. So,
Right. Exactly.
So we definitely listen, and that shaped a lot of what's coming for the new printer. And so we're really excited about that, and we'll be sharing more.
No hints. No hints. I tried, guys.
I
I dragged them all the way up from New York just to get some tidbits of information, but nothing.
No, it's going to be good. And and on the same note, that means we need space. So we're actively looking at a lot of expansion for our new space.
Didn't you guys just expand recently?
We-
though?
Last summer.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
It's been about a year and a half.
I must have been doing something for the last year. I don't know what I've been doing for the last year that I missed that. How did I miss that?
Well, we filled that space much quicker than we anticipated. So
I can imagine.
Oh, it's been good, but it's we need more space. So we're very, very much excited about that. And so between that and our print services that we've really been launching.
Yes, I noticed that on the website.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been printing some stuff and posting it on social media of some of the work that they've done for clients. Good stuff, too. Really good stuff. Now, are you designing those pieces, or are they coming in files already ready to go?
Currently, we're accepting files. We're looking to get some people on board for 3D modeling and for design services. We just pulled somebody on board who's a really fantastic guy that's been running our print farm. So
Awesome.
I guess one of the good and bad things about a large format printer is if you have a print farm, they tend to fill up space pretty quickly.
Well, yeah. I can't even imagine having two G-Maxes sitting next to each other, but a whole wall full of them. And you guys have seen pictures of their shop on social media. It's a big wall of printers. I mean, there's not a lot of them there. There's just a big wall of printers.
So we need a bigger space so we can fill it up with more printers.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. That'd be very good for you guys for growth purposes,
Yes.
obviously, and bringing in more people as you guys grow. And with the GMax 2.0, I'm sure that you guys are going to be stepping up your manufacturing process
Yeah.
so you fulfill these orders, because obviously more people will be buying the gMax 2.0, so you guys will have to really undertake a little bit more of a kind of a change to the way you guys put your printers together.
Yes.
And as far as your sourcing materials and stuff like that. So when you guys are sourcing your materials, are you guys mostly sourcing it from U.S. sources, or are you guys bringing stuff in from multiple sources to bring together the gMax printers? Because I know with some of the new improvements you guys have been talking about, these are things that people have been asking for, and you might see on other printers.
Yeah.
So are you guys using new innovation, or are you going to old tried and true suppliers to get your parts? Is it something like, say, for instance, like a linear rail? Would you go to the top linear rail manufacturer, or would you guys think about manufacturing your own parts?
Well, I'd say first on the U.S. manufacturing side, we've been a big proponent of that for since day one. So we use obviously genuine 80/20. We have a supplier upstate who supplies all of our metal parts, VM Choppy, and so it's been really not only nice but necessary to be able to go to your factory right there, or your
Very
supplier
true.
anyway.
Very true.
See your parts, see your quality. You can make changes much easier if you have to. Obviously, we've been working with BL Touch since they launched early
since
on.
the beginning. I mean, that's
they've been
probably
great.
one of the greatest innovations to 3D
Yeah.
printing, I would have to say. I don't know what I would do without it.
So there's definitely been a lot of that front, but on the same respect, there's cost, and so you have to always worry about your costs with your competitors and everyone else. And but just racing to the bottom and going for the cheapest cost doesn't necessarily gain you anything.
No.
You could lose quality, you can lose people, you can lose.
Yeah, because you get 1 out of 5 bad, you're not going to go anywhere with
It's not a long-term success strategy.
So a large portion of our prototyping phase has been testing suppliers and manufacturers to see what we can actually work with. And so there's some parts that we will be outsourcing that if the quality meets our standards.
Right.
And then other parts that manufacturing in-house has been a little bit difficult in Brooklyn, especially because it's not necessarily a manufacturing city.
Right.
So
availability of machinery and engineers to help you guys put these things together.
Space.
Obviously space, that's a huge concern out there.
So that's been a part of our challenge as a company, is learning what you can and can't do in-house, and then what, quality-wise, what you want to do in-house. So, especially with 2.0 and with our new space, we're really laying out our strategy for 2018.
Awesome.
In my background, I was an architect, so
yes,
it kind of helps laying out space, even if it's just in CAD, just to see how the flow.
And then you can kind of put it together your manufacturing workflow and see like this space won't work or this space will work depending on what especially since again it's a large printer, so you do need smaller footprints for smaller printers, but not for the gMax. I mean, just the throw of the print bed. To be able to have that kind of space to do all your testing and manufacturing, you need more than a normal company would. And that makes more sense because as the company grows, obviously you're going to need more space because you have a big product. So that makes a lot of sense.
And
I was going to say, also with the gMax 2, we are very seriously looking into or working on shipping it internationally.
Oh, awesome.
This will be the first,
That'll be good news for everybody.
this will be the first print gMax.
Don't worry,
international shipping.
We're working on it.
International shipping, yes. That's becoming, and I know there's a lot of people out there in the community that would love a gMax, and the shipping, it's not just the gMax, it's anything leaving the country, it costs money at that size. It has nothing to do with anything more than it goes in a big box, and as we all know, these shipping companies hate big boxes, so that would be really great. I mean, to really spread the name gCreate all over the world so people aren't avoiding it because of the shipping costs, that'd be awesome. I think that's actually a huge step right there.
It is.
I mean, taking that leap into international shipping and providing a affordable source for people to get the gMax, that's really great. I'm actually really good to hear that. That's awesome.
And
really good.
Well, in addition to that, then building the printer, I guess, wouldn't be one of the hardest portions of the business, because when you scale your company, you have tech support, you have shipping supply issues, you have there's just a countless amount of things,
normal things that happen with scaling a company,
things you just kind of don't even think about. So we're obviously actively pushing to move forward with our forum and our tech support and our tutorials and everything else we can. So it's laying that strategy out has been our goal, especially near the end of this year. Right. And so that's just as much as laying out your strategy for the
next
entire
year.
You have to, and next year you have to really plan it out.
Yeah.
So that's been something that keeps us excited and going forward with this.
Well, that's
Definitely.
awesome. That's a lot of really great stuff coming from you guys.
Yeah.
Really excited to see the 2.0 printer, and of course, you guys getting into a bigger manufacturing space is really going to.
We'd love to have you in New York and
I
come
know.
see the space in person.
that might happen.
Yeah.
There might be a maker
Next-
fair.
yeah, there might
Isn't
be
a
one
maker
coming up at
fair?
some point.
It's like a maker fair going on
3D
in
printing
New
the
York.
show, yeah.
Some sort of show that goes on every year in New York City. I just missed recently. But, we try to get out to some of the maker fairs, but it's with again the 365 project. I had to film.
There's only so much you can.
I had to film ahead for that, and I almost didn't make one day. Actually, the day I came home, this is off topic, but the day I came home from Bay Area Maker Fair, I got home at 11. The video was already in there, published. I couldn't access the publish button from my app. So I'm racing home.
Oh my gosh.
Kiss my wife, say hello to the cat, put my stuff down. I'm like,
Priorities.
I gotta post a video.
So funny.
Hit the publish button, and then the subscribers are like, you just made it. Yeah, well, if you didn't understand, that was pre-recorded, and I could have released it earlier in the day. But
You
yeah,
have no idea what I had to go through.
Yeah, to get that thing done.
exactly. So planning, I understand that a lot, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's great, though. I mean, when you are scaling a company, you do have to do so much planning ahead to get ahead of it. And with the company that you guys are running, again, we have to go back to the size of the machinery that you're building. Space is just, I mean, that's one top priority number one.
Yeah.
Is where are we going to put everything? And then from there, you can start worrying about manufacturing, who's going to bring in this, staffing, shipping, and then, of course, that international shipping. That's pretty awesome. That's really great to hear. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great, you guys. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we kind of wrap up today here? I think we've covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything you guys want to... I know there's been so much we've done here on the 365 project, and talk a little bit about gCreate.
Well, I guess in addition to GMAX 2, we are obviously still working on accessories for GMAX 1.5 Plus.
Oh, okay.
So there are things that we've been testing to make sure they work that will come out for this.
So upgradable things that I can
Or
add
even
on?
parts that you're going to love.
Oh, okay.
So filament
Okay.
sensors.
And additional
Ooh.
resources.
Additional resources for the current printer. Because we're obviously not trying to stop anything with that.
Right,
You know,
right.
There's no reason for us to do that. So yeah, so there's definitely, I know people have been asking about a filament sensor forever.
Yeah,
We've
it's a
tested
pretty popular
several-
item right now.
And we have been working. It's just we want to make sure that it works
perfectly
all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's definitely still things coming out for that as well.
That's great. Yeah. That's great because that is one of everybody's concerns, and it's been my concern with the 365 project is running out of filaments.
Especially when you do these like really long prints.
Yeah.
I mean, as you guys can see behind them, some of these prints were so long. I almost used up a whole roll of filament on a couple of them.
Yeah.
I think during the Halloween time, I did almost use an entire roll, and I kept waking up every couple hours thinking, if I only had a filament sensor, if I only had a filament sensor. But you guys kind of remind me of the way Apple does things, where it has to be perfect before you're going to release it. And I think that's what I admire most about you guys as far as a company goes. Because there are people putting out all kinds of doohickeys and add-ons and gadgets for 3D printers, but you don't see these guys jumping on those bandwagons until they perfected it, which I like about you guys. I think that's awesome. I go on the website every couple of days to see if anything new's coming up, look at the social media to see my face all over it, of course. Thank you guys, appreciate that. But I like the idea that you guys don't just put it out because everybody else is doing it. You want to make sure it's perfect. You want to make sure it works great for the customers. Beta test it as much as you can, being someone who both using printers, as you guys say, you both have a printer in your home, so you both are constantly printing
every day,
every single day. He's doing his own 365. He never told me about it. So being able to do 364, you're not going to go.
Not the last day. I can't do it.
Just going to throw in this towel. But knowing that you guys are doing that kind of initial testing and just not going to put out a substandard, I wouldn't even say substandard product, but a B product.
Yeah.
You want the A game product, and that's what I love about it. It's just I see something new come out, and I'm like, yeah, but when gCreate puts it out, it's going to be better because it's going to work on my giant printer.
Or it's going to actually be necessary.
Yeah, it'll be necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I know the couple companies of removable build plates, magnetic, and I knew you guys weren't going to do anything. I figured you would let BuildTech take care of it for you.
We're working with them on it, so
that's what I thought. Exactly.
Who knew?
So it's taking those necessary steps towards adding new and improvements to the printing machine itself that you guys take and don't just rush it out the door. And I really like that. You guys probably could have released a 2.0 last year.
Yeah.
With all the things that were
it.
going on in the industry with linear rails and multiple extruders and sensors and swap out hot ends and stuff like that. You guys probably could have put something out, but you didn't want to put out a substandard product. You wanted to give people what they pay for, especially with the GMAX printer. why do it halfway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it the right way. And that's one of the great things about gCreate. These guys don't mess around. If there's a new innovation in the 3D printing industry, they will probably be not the last person to do it, but they'll be the best person to do it. And I'm saying that completely honest. I'm just being honest about that. Gordon was just asking me if I've had any trouble recording time lapses, and I know you guys love to see the time lapse, and I actually use the time lapse as how to diagnose problems with my printer as far as a print failing. So it's been kind of like the bane of my existence. Before I got an action camera, when I was using the iPad, almost every fourth print would not have a full time lapse, and I'd have to cut out or something. It's just the way the Apple system works with recording time lapses. It's a restrained system. You only get like 30 seconds total, so it shoots single images, it puts them in RAM, and then compiles them at the end. But as soon as I got the action camera, the 1080p little GoPro style camera, I didn't have that many problems. It was remembering to hit the button. I remember to turn it on, and I'd be so focused on that first layer and everything, and it would get like 10 layers in, and I'd be like, oh, time lapse. And then I'd do a creative edit of a fade in so you guys would know that Jeff didn't mess that last time lapse up and forgot to turn the camera on. I've actually had it printing and having to try and attach the camera on at the same time. Like, I got to get these guys, because you guys like time lapses, and I use them for diagnosing problems. I don't see the prints half the time. I'll watch the footage if there's a fail and be like, aha, that's where the print problem happened. Now I know what to explain to my subscribers and my viewers where the fail happened, what I need to do to fix it and move on. So that time lapse thing, it has been a little bit of an issue sometimes. But since I got that action camera, again, as long as I remember to actually turn it on, I haven't had too many problems with the time lapse.
I've definitely done that 3 times already. The Fortress of the Crescent, it made it about an hour in until I realized I didn't hit the button.
See, now those are the ones people want to see, too. Those,
I had to restart it.
It's a 5-day print, right? It's a 5-day print. And you got no time left. People aren't going to believe you actually printed it. I think that's what it is. I think you guys just like to see the time lapse to make sure we actually printed it.
Photoshop it in there.
I'm good at motion graphics. I've CG'd the whole thing. We sent it to ILM, and they actually made the print happen. We didn't do anything ourselves. I've only printed for 3 days. None of this is real. It's all green screen.
It's great CG. So.
Well, that's what I do for a living. So if I'm not good at one thing, I better be good at the other. So, but no, that's been fun. It's the time lapses have been kind of a come and go sometimes, but you guys like to see them, and if I forget them, I almost feel like I want to print it again. I've had instances where I'm like, I didn't shoot a time lapse. What am I going to do? No one's going to believe I printed it. But it's happened a few times. It's happened a few times. It happens to the best of us. Trust me. After 350 days, if I missed 1 or 2 time lapses, I think that's a pretty.
I think it's.
I think you're all right then. I think you're all right then. Missing it once. So. Well, I think that's going to probably wrap it up for us here today, guys. I really want to give a huge thank you to Gordon and Anna from gCreate. They actually flew out here just to be kind of like on the show and visit and talk a little bit about the 365 project. And I was able to get a little information about gCreate, what they have coming up next. But it's been really awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming out. It's really nice to meet you guys finally. And I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel and the project. I mean, it's been awesome. I almost hate for it to end, like I've said before. But at the same time, I think people are looking forward to seeing what I'm going to do next.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be 365 days of printing. I can tell you that right now.
Can you give us a couple of hints?
I can. I can give you a couple little hints. I definitely. It's not really a hint. It's more of an obvious giveaway. Last year I purchased the STL files for a full-size Death Trooper costume from Star Wars, which was supposed to be part of the October prints, but some logistics things happened. We didn't print it. So that's coming up. It'll be probably closer to Halloween. It's going to take a couple months to print, but that'll be fully finished. I don't know if it'll be even relevant then, but I'm still doing it because I've got the files. I want to do it. I've got something really cool planned involving electricity and cars, but it's not remote control. I don't want to say anything else because it's kind of a surprise. I'm still in the kind of phases of trying to figure out if I can actually get it to work.
Okay.
And of course, I have a couple of ideas for my own RC kind of stuff. I know Daniel Norrie with his Open RC project. That's a good platform to build from. And I'm thinking of possibly designing some snap-on bodies and stuff like the traditional RC cars you find at the hobby store where you can vacuum form, just bodies and paint them you want. I was thinking of kind of coming out with a bunch of different race series and different kinds of cars to go with that Open RC project, kind of a collaboration with Daniel Norrie. He doesn't know about it yet, but I'm going to bug him about it. I'm sure he'll be open for it because we've been getting along. He was a great supporter of the project.
Yeah.
And of course, that OpenRC thing. I still have to finish mine. It's underneath the table in the 2018 box.
Yeah.
But that's going to have a different kind of a look to it when you guys see it next. It won't be the original RC body that was on it. There's some stuff out there that I want to try. So I think that's probably all I want to say. I don't want to give out too much because I want people to be excited about it. And there's some projects I don't even know if logistically we can actually do them.
Yeah.
But I've got a printer that can handle just about anything. So the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be restrained by anything. And I won't be with a printer this big. So it'll be fun to print out some cool stuff. So
We'll definitely be watching. So.
Yeah, definitely.
well, I appreciate it. And again, I really want to thank you guys for coming all the way out here to Las Vegas, visiting the channel. I don't want to get all misty about this, but these guys have been 110% supporting the 365 project. If I've ever had any problems, which I really didn't with the GMAX printer, they were always there for me. And as far as a manufacturing go, they are sitting in the room here with us today. I don't know any other manufacturer that would come all the way out here just to visit my little channel and my little 365 project. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a lot of people do. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for everything.
Jeffrey, the pleasure has been all ours. And honestly, thank you too for supporting us throughout all this time as well. So it definitely goes both ways.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
Really
I mean, it's a great printer, and I knew if I was going to, if I could start this all over again, I would still pick the GMAX for my printer for the 365 project because it has no limits. Yeah. Literally, print volume, speed, accuracy, ability to do anything filament-wise. I mean, how can you go wrong? I wouldn't choose another printer ever. I think this would be the printer I would do another 365 with. But I'm not going to do another. I'm not going to do another
2020 maybe.
Yeah, maybe. With GMAX 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
I won't even have to be in the room. I can just, it's printing. Yeah, I don't even have to Google or anything. I'll just go right, print, done, and I just wake up tomorrow and it's gone.
That one designs the model too, so
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. 2.5, folks. You heard it here, folks. It's gonna do 3D modeling too. It's the next phase. So, but again, I really want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for joining us for this little. It's been almost an hour. I'll probably edit this down to a little bit more manageable piece, but you'll get most of the raw data that we have here. I'll keep the interview as pure as possible. You guys know I like to do one take. But we did take a couple of breaks in between questions and stuff. So I'll release the videos pretty soon, and then we'll kind of go from there. But I think that kind of wraps it up, guys. And listen, anything you guys want to say to the subscribers or anything you want to say before we take off, before we finish up?
I said, well, we really appreciate the subscribers, what they've done for you. You have really great comments on your YouTube, which seems rare.
I do. So, a lot of funny stuff. A lot of people want to know more about 3D printing.
It's great, So. And that's a really great community. So on our end, we really appreciate just how great the community really is. So
awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
And spread the word.
Yes.
Yeah, please spread the word. 2018, big things.
Exactly.
And I mean that literally. Big things. Big things. All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for this little fun meet and greet with gCreate and a little bit of wrap up on the 365 project. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.